Welcome to the full free tutorial of how to film, edit, and upload your YouTube video just using your phone.
I'm Sean Cannell.
And I'm Heather Torres.
And this is Think Media. And in this very video, we're gonna be taking you through step by step our entire process for creating content for YouTube on your phone, whether you have an Android or an iPhone. And
we're gonna be answering your top questions from the Think Media community on each of these steps.
So grab your phone, grab any accessories you have, get something to drink, get a journal, and buckle your seatbelt, because we are getting started right now.
You gotta just press record.
To get started with video, all you need is your smartphone. And in this video, we're gonna be breaking down how to shoot a video for YouTube with this.
Now, we're using the iPhone 8, but if you have an Android or any other smartphone, you're gonna get massive value from this video, so let's get into it.
Hey, what's up? Sean Cannell here.
Heather Torres here.
And this is Think Media, bringing you the best tips and tools for building your influence with online video and social media. And we're so excited because we're in a 4-part series. This is part 1 of how to create YouTube videos with your smartphone. Part 1 is gonna be all about shooting the video. Then we're gonna do thumbnails in part 2, how to edit in part 3, and then finally how to upload it and optimize the video in part 4.
Now, when I first started on YouTube, all I had was a smartphone. I was not into gear. All of that was really intimidating to me. So I just want to encourage you that this video is really going to walk you step by step how to start creating content with the phone that you already have.
Tip number 1 is before you lock down your shot and set up any gear, put your phone in selfie mode and get a feel for the room.
Yeah, I took the phone, like Sean said, selfie mode, walked around because I wanted to see what the background was gonna look like with me in the shot. Now, you might think that we do this really well at Think Media, but it takes us a couple times. So you'll see I set up the shot first and it didn't quite work out. So I wanted the tripod to be about an arm's length away and I wanted the background to not be too busy. So I moved around the room and then finally locked in the right shot.
Tip number 2 is get your gear ready. Now here's the cool thing. You can start with your smartphone by just putting it on a pile of books using your on-camera microphone, but there's a few pieces of gear that we recommend to really level up your smartphone content. And that is a lighting kit. The lighting kit we have for this shoot was under $100. And then also a microphone, and if you've got your dongle, then the microphone just plugs right into your phone, makes it sound better, and Heather was able to clip that to her shirt. And then finally, just a tripod and a smartphone mount. And you could get all of that gear for right around $150 here in the US. So if you want to see links to any of those specific items, we'll post those in the description below.
Tip number 3 is to lock down your shot. Now, there's always the dilemma, do you do the selfie mode or do you do the normal camera? We suggest that you do the normal camera. And here's the best thing. I know I thought when I sat down, I can't see myself, but don't worry. Do a test shot first where you click the button, you sit down, you say something so you can test your audio, you can check the background, make sure everything's in frame, it looks nice. And then when you get started, everything's good to go.
Yeah, and the reason you want to do that is because the normal camera on most phones, like the majority, is so much superior to the selfie camera. But here's the thing, you can still use the selfie camera if you want, but avoid this mistake. A lot of people, when they're having selfie mode, they look at themselves and not the lens, therefore people can see it on the YouTube video. So do your best to look at that little lens on your phone, and that way you'll be making eye contact with the viewer.
Tip number 4 is to lock in your video settings before you start to shoot. Now, most cameras on your phone will do 1080p, which is great, and we recommend choosing that setting, but if you have the option for 4K, choose 4K. So in this video, we're doing 4K at 30 frames per second.
Yeah, and later in this series, we're gonna be going through how to edit that. And what's cool is on an iPhone 8, which is the phone we're using for this series, you'll be able to edit 4K easy. But here's the other thing. You can always shoot in 4K, but then later down process it to 1080p, and it'll still look better on YouTube, helping you get more views and build your brand faster. Psst, hey, I hope you're getting value out of this video, and if you are, can you smash the like button? All right, let's get right back into the tips. Rosie!
Tip number 5 is to deliver the content. Now, before I even sat down to record the video, there's 2 things that I did. The first thing is I researched what I wanted my video to be about. So I didn't just set up all my gear, sit down, stare at the camera and go, what am I gonna record? No, I actually knew what the video was going to be about. The second thing I did was I took the content that I knew I wanted to have in the video and I broke it down into points. That just helps me record the video better and it allows my audience to be able to follow along with the video all the way to the end. Then what I did was press record. Now I walked through the entire video and just like you, I stumbled. I had to stop and restart and that's okay. You're not gonna get it right the first time, but just keep going.
All right, and now that all the footage is on the phone, it's ready for the edit. But there's actually one more step before that, and that is creating a great thumbnail for YouTube. So if you want to watch part 2 in this series, you can click or tap the YouTube card and we'll post a link to it in the description below as well.
And if you want to watch the full video that I did on my iPhone for this video, you can check it out over on my homeschool channel and we'll post that on the YouTube card or in the description below.
We are back and ready to answer some questions about the video we just watched, and a bunch of questions came in about lighting, and specifically if the image doesn't look very good because of low light and how to actually set up the lights right. So let's remember that one of the best ways to get good looking video out of any camera is to actually invest in some lighting. If you can sit in front of a window, that's good, but that's why we recommended a softbox kit that's sitting behind us so that you can actually improve the lighting in your videos. You know, if the image quality is grainy or too sharp or looking weird, you definitely want to invest in some lights. And you know, you don't have to get a big kit. There's actually a $20 ring light that you can just attach to the selfie mode of your camera. And we're going to actually link a lot of resources in this video. So we'll put them in the YouTube description in the resource guide numbered by when we talk about them. But then the other question is, how do you actually set up your lighting? So typically with soft boxes like that, you want them kind of off to the right side and the left side, raised up a little bit and pointing down at you. You don't really want the light shooting up. That's Blair Witch Project. You don't really want it straight on. That can sometimes be intense. You go a little bit higher and you point down with your softbox lighting, and then you don't necessarily need each side to be at the same distance. Sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of lighting on one side. In fact, right now we have a window on this side and then a bright ring light on the other side, which gives a little bit of contrast to the shot. So here's a big tip on lighting. Experiment until you feel good with it. Do some test shots, do some experiments, and then we also have some more resources about this.
Yeah, Nolan from the Think Media team did an excellent video all about how to set up 3-point lighting. So if you want to understand more about where you should be putting the lights and how you get that light on your face right or behind you, definitely check that in the YouTube card and we'll link that in the description below. Now, Mackenzie also asked, how do you get the right angle? And I feel you because this is something I had to practice too. Now, if you're down below and you're shooting up, it's not really the most flattering shot for your body. But if you're right straight on, this actually isn't the best shot either. You wanna go up a little bit and angle down. It makes your body a little more miniaturized, helping those features out.
And remember, just experiment and test your final shot and see how it looks. It's also gonna affect the elements in the background. So a lot of this comes with just trial and error and practice. And so test your camera at different heights and angles until you love the way it looks.
All right, so Tere asks, how do you get the blurry background? Now, here's the thing. With the iPhone or with the smartphones, your sensor size isn't actually large enough to get the blurry background effect that you see in a lot of really cool videos. But here's some tricks that I've tried. So you wanna be the object closest to the camera, and you wanna have your background furthest away. That allows it to be softer, but not necessarily blurred.
Yeah, and here's the deal. If you actually want to eventually achieve some other cinematic looks and blurry background looks, you may want to think about investing in a camera. You know, one of our favorite cameras here at Think Media is the Canon M50. There's been some incredible deals on it, and again, we'll list some of those resources in the resource guide. In fact, if you haven't downloaded our Think Media Gear Guide, then it's a great resource where we cover all the different accessories, not only for your smartphone, but also some of our top camera recommendations. So actually check out this spot.
Ready to get started on YouTube, but not sure what gear you need? Get your copy of the free Ultimate Video Gear Guide, where we share the best cameras, lighting, and audio setup for every YouTube budget. Visit thinkgearguide.com to get started today. So Debbie asks, what's the best way to get great audio? And step number one is actually, if you're gonna start with just the in-camera microphone, you wanna make sure that you are close because that microphone's gonna pick up a lot. So you wanna make sure that you're talking directly to the camera and then it can pick up your audio.
Yeah, also if you're in a smaller room that has lower ceilings and carpet, we're actually in kind of a big room here, so we're using a different kind of microphone to help us. And that would be our next tip, is that you would use some kind of an external microphone. You saw in the video that we just watched a little $20 clip-on Boya mic, but you also can check out something like this Takstar microphone right here. It's a $25 shotgun mic. I've got the dongle connected to it. And then you can plug that right into your lightning port, or if you have a headphone jack, you could plug that in there as well. And obviously, you might have some questions about some of these smartphone accessories. So we actually have a whole video out about this. We'll link that up on the YouTube card as well as post it in the resource guide.
Okay, so we'll answer some more questions after this next part. And I'm excited for this because we're going to get into how to create a thumbnail using your smartphone. But if you're getting value out of this video, make sure to smash that like button. And now let's get into part two. One of the most important elements of growing your YouTube channel is creating great thumbnails, but you don't need a fancy camera or a computer to get started. All you need is your iPhone. So in this video, I'll be breaking down my 3 easy steps for creating thumbnails with just your phone. Hey, it's Heather Torres here with Think Media, helping you build your influence with online video and social media. And on this channel, we do tech gear reviews, strategy videos, and tutorial videos just like this. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. So now I know when you get started on YouTube, it can be scary actually having to figure out cameras and figure out the editing software to just create a simple thumbnail. And so I wanna walk you through the 3-step process that I use when I create my thumbnails using my phone. So let's jump into the tips. One of the first major points of understanding how to make a great thumbnail is really not even using the phone yet. You want to think about starting with the end in mind. So you want to think about what type of emotion should you have in your face when you're making your thumbnail? Or are you going to have words on the side that you need to be pointing to? Or where are you going to be looking at? So before you even get started making the thumbnail, really think about the end in mind of what you want that thumbnail to look like. You know, on YouTube, the type of thumbnails that get the most clicks are the ones that have emotions. Yeah, it's great to smile sometimes in a thumbnail, but really when you evoke emotion, when you're pointing or when you're looking towards words that actually express what they should click on, that's the start of a great thumbnail. The second part of the process is that you want to actually take a lot of pictures. I usually take about 10 pictures every time I'm going to do a thumbnail. And the reason for that is because you want to make sure you find the right one, the perfect picture. And if you only take 1 or 2 and you get to the editing process, you're going to be disappointed because you don't have the right thumbnail that's going to get those clicks and grow your channel. So here's some tips you want to keep in mind. I have the camera right in front of me, but I'm over actually to the side because I want to use this side to put words on my thumbnail. I also have the camera about arm's distance away, and the reason for that is I want to make sure that I don't have too much in the background. I want it really to be my face so you get the emotion that's happening. Now, I'm using an iPhone 8. I have a tripod. We'll link all of the gear, really the tripod, down below, as well as the apps that we're using, but I do have it on a tripod. Now, you can also do this in selfie and have it and hold the phone, or like I have it here, I have it set up so I can just set a timer. Now on the phone itself, I actually want to move it to portrait mode. Again, I have the iPhone 8, it has portrait mode, and the reason for that is because it instantly gives me a blurry background. I don't want to do a lot of editing to this photo, so I already want the blurry background to have the effect. In order to take the picture, I want to put it on the